The king is a ghost. My name is T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, king of Wakanda, the Black Panther. These are my titles. They are given to me. They are earned. They are carried. But they are not me, not all of me. I am speaking to you now not as a king or as a symbol. I am speaking as a man who has lived a life that was never truly his own. I need you to understand. Perhaps I need myself to understand. My story begins, as all our stories do, in childhood. But my childhood was not like yours. I grew up in a paradise hidden from the world, Wakanda. To you, it is a legend, a technological marvel. To me, it was home. It was the scent of the red earth after a rain, the sound of the drums in the city square, the sight of skyscrapers that touched the clouds, built not from steel and glass, but from a metal that sang with the energy of the stars. Vibranium. It was a beautiful dream, a perfect place, and in this perfect place, I was a prince. I knew from my first breath that one day, I would be king. It was not a choice. It was a path laid out for me, paved with generations of ancestors, each one a Black Panther, each one a king. Their portraits watched me from the walls of the palace. Their stories were my bedtime stories. They were not men, not in the stories. They were giants. And my father was the greatest of them all. T'Chaka, he was more than a king. He was Wakanda. He was wisdom, strength, tradition. When he walked into a room, the air itself would grow still, out of respect. I loved him. I feared him. I wanted to be him. I would watch him hold counsel, listen to him speak, and I would think, how can I ever be that? How can this small boy ever feel the shadow of such a giant? He taught me everything. How to fight, how to lead, how to be silent and listen. But the most important lesson he taught me was about our duty. Wakanda, he said, was a gift, a precious, fragile thing, and our one true purpose was to protect it, to keep it safe, to keep it hidden. The world outside was full of chaos, greed, and war. They would not understand our gift. They would take it, they would twist it, and so we remained in the shadows. A perfect nation, living a perfect lie. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? I saw the proof of his words every day. I saw peace. I saw progress. I saw a people who were whole, who had not been broken by the world outside. I thought his way was the only way, the right way. The mantle of Black Panther is not just a suit. It is a spirit. It is a connection to Bast, our Panther goddess. It is the strength of every king who came before me, flowing through my veins. I trained my entire life for the day I would take the heart-shaped herb, for the day I would be buried in the red earth and travel to the ancestral plane. I dreamed of it, to speak with the wise kings of old, to finally meet the giants from the stories, to ask my father for his guidance, even after he was gone. But he was not gone yet, and I was not yet king. I was a son, and a son believes his father is immortal. I remember the day he died. I remember it not in flashes, but as one long, silent scream. We were in Vienna. The world was watching. We were there to build bridges, a small step out of the shadows he had always warned me against. And then, fire, and noise, and smoke. When the smoke cleared, the world I knew was gone. My father, the giant, the immortal king, was just a man, lying on the floor, still. Something broke inside me that day. The prince died with the king, and in his place, a hunter was born. All I felt was rage, a pure, cold rage. They told me who did it, a ghost, a man called the Winter Soldier. I did not care about his reasons. I did not care about politics or justice. I saw only the man who had taken my father, and I wanted him to suffer. This is the part of my story I do not like to tell. It is not the story of a king. It is the story of a boy, lost in his own pain. I put on the suit, the Black Panther suit, but I was not the Black Panther. Not then. The Panther is a protector. I was an avenger. I hunted him across the world. I was relentless. I was prepared to tear down everything to get to him. My father's lessons about wisdom, about listening, They were gone, buried under my grief. And I found him. I cornered him. I was ready to deliver the final blow. And in that moment, I learned the truth. He was not the killer. He was a weapon, a pawn in another man's game. The real killer was a man named Zemo, a man who had lost his own family, a man twisted by his own grief, just like me. He wanted to show the world that empires fall, that even heroes can be broken. He had turned my friends against each other, and he had used my pain, my rage, as his sharpest tool. I found him, not to fight, but to see him answer for his crimes. And I saw him there, his plan a success, ready to end his own life. The hunter inside me, the grieving son, wanted to kill him, to make him pay for my father's life. But I looked at him, and I saw a reflection of my own heart, a man drowning in vengeance. And I knew, in that moment, that if I killed him, I would be just like him, forever. I stopped him. I chose justice over vengeance. It was the first decision I made as a king, not in a throne room, but in a cold, broken bunker, thousands of miles from home. I let the rage go. I let the hunter die. And I finally began to grieve for my father. I returned to Wakanda to be crowned. I took the herb. I was buried. And I went to the ancestral plane. I saw him, my father. He was young again, strong. He stood under an acacia tree with the purple sky of our ancestors behind him. I ran to him like a child. I told him I was sorry, that I was not ready. He told me, a man who has not prepared his children for his own death has failed as a father. He was trying to comfort me, but all I heard was the weight of his legacy settling on my shoulders. He was still the giant, and I was still the small boy living in his shadow. I asked him for his wisdom. I asked him how to be a good king. He said, "You are a good man with a good heart, and it is hard for a good man to be a king." I did not understand what he meant. Not then. I became king. I wore the crown. I sat on the throne, and I learned the truth of my father's words. The crown is not made of vibranium. It is made of ghosts. The ghosts of past decisions. The ghosts of all the people you are responsible for. It is the loneliest place in the world. Everyone looks at you. They see the Black Panther. They see the king. They do not see the man, T'Challa, who doubts himself, who fears he is not strong enough, not wise enough. The man who misses his father. My sister, Shuri, she sees me. Okoye, my general, she sees me. Nakia, the woman I love, she sees me. But even they cannot share the burden. The final choice is always mine. And then he came, a ghost from a past I did not know existed, a ghost my father had created. He called himself Killmonger, but his name was Njadaka, son of my uncle Njobu, my cousin. My father, the perfect king, had a secret, a deep, dark secret. His own brother had wanted to use Wakanda's power to liberate our people across the world, to arm them, to start a global uprising. He saw the suffering of black people everywhere, and he saw Wakanda, in its perfect paradise, doing nothing. My father confronted him, and in the argument, he killed him. He killed his own brother. And he left his son, a small boy, alone in a foreign city, an orphan, a Wakandan child, left to fend for himself in the world my father so deeply feared. Eric Stevens, that is the name they gave him. He grew up with nothing of Wakanda but stories and a burning anger in his heart, an anger that was justified. He was the fruit of my father's greatest failure. He was the living embodiment of our lie. He came to Wakanda not just for the throne. He came for justice. He came for revenge. He challenged me for the crown in ritual combat, and he beat me. He was stronger. He was more ruthless. He had been forged in the fire of the world we had hidden from. I had been raised in a palace. He had been raised in a war. He threw me from the top of the waterfall. As I fell, I felt not just the pain of my body breaking, but the pain of my pride shattering. I had failed. The son of T'Chaka, the Black Panther, defeated, stripped of everything. I was no king. I was nothing. I survived. Barely. The Jabari tribe, who live in the mountains, who reject our technology, they found me. They saved me. And as I lay there, healing. I had to face the truth. My father was not perfect. Wakanda was not perfect. And our isolation, our beautiful dream, had created a monster who was my own blood. And the truth, the terrible truth that settled in my bones, was that he was not entirely wrong. His rage was born from a real pain. A pain my father, my king, had created. A pain we had ignored for a generation. He saw the world as it was, and he saw us doing nothing. His methods were born of hate, but his reasons were born of a love for his people that we had forgotten how to show. I had to go back. I had to face him, not just to reclaim my throne, but to answer for the sins of my father. We fought, brother against brother, panther against panther, in the heart of the vibranium mound that had given us all our power. He was fighting for revolution. I was fighting for what? Tradition. For the old ways. The ways that had created him? No. In that fight, I realized I was not fighting for the past. I was fighting for the future. A different future. One where we did not have to choose between hiding and conquering. I defeated him. I had to. He would have burned the world down, but as he lay there, dying, I did not feel victory. I felt only a profound sadness. I took him out to see the sunset over Wakanda, the one his father had told him was the most beautiful in the world. He had dreamed of it his whole life, and he only got to see it as he died. He looked at me. He was not my enemy. He was my family. He said, "Bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped from ships, 'cause they knew death was better than bondage." In that moment, I finally understood. He was a king without a throne, a son without a home. He was everything we were afraid to be, and everything we had a duty to become. We could not hide anymore. Our paradise was built on a foundation of silence and neglect, and the world was suffering for it. His death changed me. It changed Wakanda. I could not let him die for nothing. So I made a choice my father and all the kings before him would have feared. I went before the world, and I opened Wakanda's doors. I shared our knowledge, our technology. I chose to build bridges, not walls. Many of my people were afraid. They said I was betraying our ancestors, that I was inviting the chaos of the world into our home. Maybe they are right. It is a risk, a great risk, but it is a greater risk to sit by with the power to heal the world and do nothing, to watch from the safety of our mountain while others suffer. That is not the way of a king. It is the way of a coward. We must be builders. We must be healers. My cousin showed me that. His rage was a mirror, and in it, I saw our flaws. I saw my father's fear, and I saw my own. So this is my story, the story of a prince who became a hunter who became a king, and a king who is just a man trying to do the right thing. I still go to the ancestral plane. I speak with my father. I tell him of the world we are building, a new world. He does not always understand. He looks at me with worried eyes. He asks if I am sure. I tell him, no, I am not sure, but I am trying. It is hard for a good man to be a king. I finally understand. It means making choices that hurt. It means disappointing those you love. It means carrying the weight, not just of your own mistakes, but the mistakes of your father. I carry Eric with me every day. I carry his anger, his pain, his dream of a better world. I try to honor him, not with war, but with outreach, not with vengeance, but with hope. I am T'Challa. I wear a mask of a panther. I wear a crown of a king, but beneath it all, I am a son trying to be better than his father. I am a cousin trying to heal a wound that split my family. I am a man who believes that we are all one tribe, and I will spend the rest of my life, however long that may be, trying to prove it. That is my choice, my burden, my purpose, and I will not fail. I cannot.